Today I'm going to show you how to thread your sewing machine. First, remove the spool cap. Place your spool of thread onto the pin, and then you're going to replace the spool cap so it's locked into place. We're going to take our thread and we're going to use this white plastic thread guide. So don't get confused with the silver bobbin winder guide, which was used for winding a bobbin. We're going to follow each of the numbers. Every machine has the numbers printed so that it makes it easier for you to do. We're going to take our thread and put it behind this white thread guide. You should hear it click into place. Follow it down the channel, number 1. Swoop up, number 2. And then we want to put our thread through the take-up lever. Right now you can see it up in the top. But if you ever notice and it's missing, the silver is gone, just turn the hand wheel toward yourself and make sure that it appears in the top. Now we're going to get our thread back and forth. The thread should slide through that little space and you should see it in this hole. Now we can take our thread to the bottom of the machine. This is where you have to make sure that it's going to slide around this little silver clip. So you're going to go around the left. It's clipped right in here. We want to lower our presser foot. This leaves a little more space for our hands to get in there to thread our needle. Now you want to make sure that your thread is a nice clean cut so that it makes it a little easier to go through the needle. You want to make sure that your needle is in the up position, which it should be, so this gives you a little more space. The eye of the needle is at the bottom, and I just put my finger behind there so that you can see where the hole is. It's very difficult sometimes because it is very small. A lot of people are tempted to wind the thread around and try to thread it from the back to the front, but that just makes it get tangled around the needle. So make sure you're holding this thread. We want to just press it through the needle front to back. Now make sure your feet are off of your foot pedal so that you do not accidentally step on it and the needle will go down through your finger. So right now I want to take my thread, put it through the eye of the needle. This might take a little bit of work if you have trouble seeing it like I do. So I want to slide this right through. Might take me a minute. And I might need to have my assistant help me, or nope, I actually got it. Wait. There it is. We're going to grab the tail of the thread and pull it to the back of the machine. So now I want to take this and get it out of my way. Now I'm going to lift up my presser foot and I'm going to remove the bobbin case. This is really important because this case can get lost easily. So make sure when you take this off that you set it right in front of you so you don't lose it. This is going to be where the bottom of the machine gets threaded. We just wound our bobbin and now we need to insert this in the bottom of the machine. So when your thread comes off of the bobbin, this is one mistake people make, where they put it in the machine and it comes off the bottom. That is wrong. You want the thread, if I'm holding it in my left hand and I start to unwind, the thread is going to come off the top to the left. So when I hold it down, it almost looks like the letter P. So I'm going to lay this flat into this bobbin case. Now what I have to do, you're going to see a little silver notch. I'm going to slide the thread to the right gently and then over to the left. The thread just went right between that little plate, and that is where our bobbin is going to go. One last step before we can start to sew, and that's we need to make the two pieces of thread come together. I call this going fishing. So what you have to do, holding with your left hand, take the thread that's coming out of the needle. Now we can either use this up-down arrow on the front of the machine to make the needle go down and up, or you can actually turn the hand wheel manually toward yourself to make the needle go down and pick up this thread. So I'm going to hold this thread, give it a little tension, press the up-down needle, once down, once up. Now if you look underneath this presser foot, you should see a loop, which just came up. If you can see that loop, that means the thread just got picked up. I'm going to use my bobbin case to slide these threads over. And I know I did it right when the thread that was from the bobbin is now coming up through the bottom of the machine. So I have 2 pieces of thread, one through the bottom, one from the top. I replace my bobbin case cover on it, and now I need to do a test stitch. So I'm going to take a piece of fabric, I'm going to fold it together, I'm going to lay it down on my machine. You always lower the presser foot. You want to make sure that's going to stay in place. I'm going to press on my foot pedal and go forward. When I do this, I'm now going to lift up my presser foot, pull the fabric out to the side. You always do this, and cut off the thread. We do this because you don't want to have to rethread the machine more than once. This way we can continue stitching as long as we want for those machines. Now we're going to look at our stitch, and if it looks straight and there's no big loops or bumpy, we did it correctly. So right now that is perfect in how we thread the machine.